Hello everyone, Quicksand here. I hope everyone is having a great and fantastic day. I know I am. So today I decided to do that gear video that I have been promising to do for like 6 or 7 months now and have never gotten around to it. So today specifically, I am going to talk about my winter loadout that I used on my 2019-2020 Appalachian Trail through hike. So let's get into this. All right, so before we get into this, like most people know, I'm not a big fan of gear videos. I don't know why, I'm just not really into them. I know I'm the minority. I know most people love gear videos, and for some reason I'm just not into them, but that is okay. So before I get into this gear video, please remember, just because this gear worked for me does not necessarily mean it will work for you. Gear is a very, very, very personal thing. Everyone has their own comfort slash light ratio that they like to play around with. So just because mine is set at this level does not mean it will work for you. I am simply just telling you what I use and what worked for me on my 2019-2020 Appalachian Trail through hike. All right, so now that's out of the way, let's get into this. Okay, so this is my pack that I had. This would be me leaving town with at least 5 days worth of food. Even though I may not have stayed on trail for 5 days, I would always carry a little extra food with me. So this is about exactly what it looks like when I would leave town during the winter on my through hike. Okay, the first piece of gear is obviously my backpack. So I chose the Z-Packs. This is the Arc Glass, not the Arc Haul. The Arc Haul can actually carry a little bit more weight, more comfortable. So if you think you're gonna carry average about 25 to 30 pounds, go with the Arc Haul, not the Arc Glass. If you think you're gonna average around sub 25, sub 20, go with the Arc Glass. So it's a very, very simple pack, very, very lightweight. A lot of people don't realize it. When you get it, these little bars come here and you have to put them in to create the arc. The Z-Packs fitting video, perfect. Just watch the Z-Packs fitting video for the Arc Series packs. It'll show you exactly how to fit your Z-Packs bag, better than I can explain it. So it's a very simple pack, has a big back pocket that I like a lot, 2 side pockets, and I added these little side pockets on here. This one I'm using a rubber band because the stretchy that holds onto the hip belt kept breaking on mine. But the thing is I would use these pockets all the time. So I actually went through a bunch of these. Z-Packs always sent them to me free. So I got like 5 of these free from them because they kept breaking. But so they're not the most durable, but they were good for what I needed. So yeah, it's just a very simple pack. I think with all the little things I added, I also have put a water holder on the front. Will hold right there. I think this is like, I don't know, about 1.5 pounds in weight. And like I said, it's a very comfortable pack, 20 pounds down. So when I would leave town, sometimes it would be a little bit overweight. So the first day would be uncomfortable, but after that I was fine. But I would never put more than 25 pounds in one of these packs. But yeah, other than that, I liked it a lot. I did end up breaking this bar that holds the hip belt in place. But if you saw, I fell really hard and I came down really hard on it, so it makes a lot of sense that it broke. But other than that, this pack held up great, and I like it a lot. I'm gonna use it until it's done. I may end up trying a new pack after this, but I'm not really sure. But anyways, the Arc Blast, that's what I use as my backpack on my thru hike. Okay, next we're gonna talk about my sleeping system. So the bag I use for winter is, it's just a Z-Packs classic sleeping bag. And this is a very, very ultralight bag. Very, very expensive. Man, I'm thinking this thing costs like 700, no, maybe like 500. I'm not really sure. It was expensive. I remember we were like, I really had to debate to pull the trigger on this thing. But yes, the Z-Packs 10 degree classic sleeping bag. So it zips all the way down pretty far, and then you have that much as a toe box. A lot of people like quilts. I don't. I just think they're just, with all the buckles and stuff. To me, the classic sleeping bag, it's simple, it's practical, it keeps you warm, does the job. Honestly, I always like to have my feet in the bag anyways. I always like to, I don't know why, even during the summer, what I'll do is I'll use like a 30 degree bag and I just put it over me, but I still like my feet in the toe box. I don't know why. So this bag works great for me. It's a little bit over a pound. I mean, it's ridiculously light. So that is what I use, Z-Packs Classic Sleeping Bag. Now they have other models of sleeping bags. You can go check their website. I don't use a liner, but if I did, what I do with my sleeping system, because I used to use a liner, is I would take this bag, I would put the liner in it, and then I also use this Sea to Summit pillow. Let me blow it up real quick for you. Blows up really quick. So I have the liner in the bag, and then I would put my pillow in the bag, and then I would just squash it up into a ball like this. Then I use a contractor's bag. I stick that in there. And then I kind of just seal it all up. So my sleeping gear will never ever get wet. Even though my backpack is waterproof, if any condensation gets inside the pack, if any of your gear happens to be wet or moist, it'll cause everything in the pack to get wet. So this is a safeguard. So my sleeping bag, my sleeping gear is never ever wet. Good tip. First thing I do is I put my sleeping equipment, and that's the first thing that gets stuffed all the way down into my pack. Okay, so I put my sleeping system in first. It was my sleeping bag with my liner and my pillow. I put it all in my sleeping bag, roll it up, and put it in a contractor bag to keep it dry, and it goes on the very, very bottom. Now, if you want, you could put your sleeping mattress in there too. The thing I found out is they might get a little damp, but they dry so freaking quick that it doesn't really matter, so I never do. But yeah, that's the first thing that goes in for me, my sleeping system. All right, the next piece of equipment I'm going to talk about is my air mattress or air pad, whatever you want to call it. I use, like most people, the Therm-A-Rest Neo Air X-Lite. Therm-A-Rest has one out, an ultralight one that's even lighter than this. This is really light. I don't know exactly how much it weighs. I think it's like a pound or a little bit over. It's extremely light. I even got the wide and long one because I like not so much the extra length, but I like the width because I can just lay my arms on it when I'm laying on my back and my arms don't hang off to the side. So I like that a lot. These things are really durable. Now I heard the lighter one that they have that's green is not as durable and it's more prone to getting leaks. But this thing lasted me the whole way. Well, actually, I had another one and I repaired it, but the reason it got a hole in it is because I made these stakes out of wire just to get me through the 100-mile wilderness, and they put a hole in it, and I patched it with Dyneema tape, and it held, and I gave it to my buddy Mule, and he used it all the way to Georgia on his through hike. So these things work really, really good. So I do put mine in the case because it gives it a little extra protection in case you do get something sharp in there that may pop it. But this is the next thing that goes inside my pack, and it goes on the inside right on top of my sleeping bag, contractor bag. Thing to go in is I have this little, I call it a night bag. So what I have in it is an eye mask that I wear over my eyes. The reason I do this is because if you've ever been out in a full moon, for me, I'm really sensitive to light and I won't sleep well. So ever since I started wearing a mask, I sleep a lot deeper. And if you've ever been out during a full moon, I mean, especially if you have like a neon green tint, which I used to have, it'll just be so bright. It'll almost seem like daylight all night. So I sleep a lot better with a mask, so I use that. And then I have this Therm-A-Rest Neo Air. And what it is it's a fan, a little fan to blow up your mattress. In 2016, I hated blowing up my mattress every night. And this thing weighs 2 ounces. Now you open it up, hear it? You put this on the air nozzle and then you stick it on there, let it blow up, and you go do something else while it's blowing up. And then once it's done blowing up, you just put in like 2 or 3 good breaths and you're done. Another thing that's great about this, and you can tell it's a little warped from the heat, is you can stoke fires with it. When I was in New York, there was a heat wave and it was just ungodly hot in my tent. And I actually took this out and just set it and just blew it on me for like an hour. I'm not even kidding, but this thing's amazing. Yeah, man, it's extra weight that you don't need. But if you're like me and you hate blowing up your air mattress, I mean, there's a lot of little things this thing does good. And then I have earplugs, which, trust me, if you're through hiking, take earplugs with you. Trust me, you're going to need them. For some reason, 80% of hikers snore, and I mean snore. I've never heard snoring what I thought was snoring until I met hikers. I mean, so I'll put my earplugs in this, my mask, and my fan, and this is the next thing I'll put in my bag. I'll put it towards, you can't really see, but I'll put it towards the back, towards the side. Next thing is my Gatorade bottle. This is a great thing for men. If you have to get up in the middle of the night to pee, get a Gatorade bottle and don't get out of your tent. It's great for the cold. It's great when there's lots of bugs out. It's just great when you just don't want to get out of your tent. I strongly recommend a Gatorade bottle. And that would be the next thing I will put in my pack on this side to fill that gap. Okay, so now I have my sleeping bag, my liner, my pillow on the bottom. And then I put my sleeping mattress pad right on top of that on the inside. And then I filled this space with that bag that I had in my Gatorade bottle. Now, the trick to packing a bag is you want light on the bottom. You want to put all your, so I have that bottom filled up. You want to put kind of the lighter stuff there. And this, from the middle section, from here to here, that's where you want to put all your heavy weighted stuff. You want all your heavy weighted stuff in the middle of your pack when you pack it. So the next thing I would put in my bag, since I want the heaviest stuff in the middle, is I would put my winter clothing bag. It is the #1 most consistent, heaviest thing in my pack. My food bag is usually always a little bit heavier right when I leave town, but it shrinks as I go along the trail to get to my next town. My clothes bag usually always stays the same. If it's really cold, I may be wearing a lot of it. If it's not cold, I may not be wearing much of it, and I may just, but for me, mostly I save my clothing for nighttime when it gets cold because I want it all to stay dry. Okay, I'm just gonna go over my clothing really quick. It's almost all Icebreakers. Icebreakers is expensive. It's a little more expensive, but it's very lightweight, very compactable, and it keeps you amazingly warm for how lightweight and compactable it is. So the first thing I use is this Icebreaker. It's a, what do they call this? A 260. So it's just, I will not hike in this. This is what I wear when it's cold, when I get to camp. Okay, so under that, I will have, this is an Icebreaker Thermal, and I'll usually have 2 of these. They're just little thermal shirts. As you can tell, they look pretty lightweight and stuff, but they keep you amazingly warm. I usually will hike with one of these under my hiking shirt, and then I have one when I get to camp at night that I'll wear under my 260. And then I have these. These are Icebreaker leggings. These are the Icebreaker Merino GTs. They're a little extra thick, and they have the zippers at the bottom to tighten up. If it's really cold, I'll be hiking in these. The great thing about it is they don't get wet. They wick all your moisture, so I can hike in these all day and they'll be dry when I get to camp, and I can still wear them to stay warm. And under that, I will have a thermal underwear, long johns, and I'll wear those under that. And I carry 2 pairs of these too, just in case it gets really cold. And then I use a buff, which the buff is great for the neck, keeping that warm. Some people like to wear it over their face when they sleep. I can't sleep with anything. I don't like having anything over my face because I feel kind of claustrophobic. And I mean, that's one of the reasons I won't wear a mask, but it's definitely not the #1 reason, because I don't wear a mask because I don't like to be told what to do. And that's a simple reason. And then I wear a beanie for at night, keep my head warm. And then I have a pair of these mittens. I love these mittens because they're fingerless. Okay, so as you can see, they're fingerless. And I like that because you can, you know, use your phone or do stuff you need to do when you're in your tent or whatever. And then it just goes over. It'll keep your fingers warm. So I would use these a lot when it was really cold. And then, you know, you can do whatever you want with your fingers and then take it off. They make ones with the thumb that comes off, and that's what I'm gonna get next because I found out I needed my thumb a lot. So they actually make ones where the thumb will come off too. So you can take that off and the thumb, and that's what I'm gonna get next. But I highly recommend these. These are amazing. They're 2-in-1, gloves and mittens. It's all I needed. And these are Patagonia. These are the only Patagonia gear I own, but I love them. They're amazing. And 2 pairs of socks is what I use. What I would also do, I found out those waterproof socks, I liked them a lot. They were great for, you know, if it was cold and wet, they would keep your feet warm. They'd keep your feet dry. Your shoes would get soaked, but they would keep your feet dry. So I like those things a lot, but I stopped using them just because I ended up, well, it was during the summer and I'm like, it didn't really matter if my shoes were wet. And then during the winter, I ended up getting those Speed Goats Gore-Tex ones. And those, the Speed Goat, Hoka Speed Goat Gore-Tex trail runners, they will keep your feet dry until, of course, you start getting holes in them. So I didn't need waterproof socks. So those work great. Okay, so this is my clothing bag. All those clothes fit in here. By the way, I use all Z-Pack stuff sacks. This stuff sack, most of my stuff sacks are the same ones I used on my thru hike in 2016, and I'm still using them. These bags, I'm telling you, if anything you use Z-Packs for, get their stuff sacks and their food bags. They're amazing, super light, super durable. I mean, this thing, like I said, I've had it for almost 5 years now. So I take my my clothing bag, and that will be the next thing I will put in my pack. And I put that right on top of all, all the other stuff. So this is I'm starting my mid layer, which is my heavy stuff. So my clothes bag fits right on top of that, perfectly flat, and it takes up that whole space, so I don't have to fill any gaps. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna put in is my electronics bag. And this is it right here, another Z-Packs bag. So I have big battery in it, another big battery. Now, if you're not vlogging, you're not gonna need these batteries. This is what I use for vlogging, and it actually, 4 or 5 days, I need both of these batteries, and I usually go into town with not much of a charge left. And these batteries that's the thing, if you're vlogging stuff, these batteries, I mean, they take like 5 to 6 hours just to charge up because you can't fast charge batteries. So you're gonna have to wait somewhere to get these things charged. And then I keep my headlamp. Now, most people use the charger headlamps, the new lightweight charger ones. I don't. I use the battery one because I have so much stuff I have to charge already, because I carry an MP3 player too, plus my phone, plus, yeah, so I always have so much stuff to charge. To me, it's easier just not to have to deal with charging this thing. So I just it's a black diamond ultralight headlamp. And then, of course, I keep all my cords in there, and that's my electronic bag. Now, if you're one of those people who night hikes or gets up really early in hikes, you're gonna wanna keep your headlamp probably somewhere where you can get to it all the time. Me, I never do, rarely ever. So, and I keep this kind of on top of my pack, so if I ever do have to get it, I can get it. But anyway, so this is my electronic bag, my electronics bag. Now I put this right on top of my clothing bag, right in the middle. I just set it right in the middle. Now it doesn't take up all the space, so I'll just put it like right in the middle of where the clothing bag is. Okay, so the next thing that goes in is my food bag. So this is a Z-Packs. This is not a Z-Packs food bag. I actually had an extra Z-Pack, so I just use it as a food bag. It's actually a dry bag, and it works fine. My Z-Packs food bag lasted 2 through hikes, a bunch of other hikes, and finally towards the end of this hike, it just shredded. But it still lasted a long time. So this is what my food bag looks like about if I'm gonna do 4, maybe 5 days, 4.5 days, because that's what I would do because of my vlogging. In 2016, I would go 5, 6. The longest I stayed on trail was 14 days, and it was crazy. But anyway, so this is my food bag, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put this right on top. So now I put my food bag right on top of that electronics bag, and I just pushed it around it. So the food bag takes up all this space, but it also will just kind of mold around that electronics bag. And then I just stuff it all down. So now I got my mid layer finished. My mid layer comes to here, but I'm going to push it down. There's still room to push it down. So usually your mid layer will come to here. So now I'm going to work on my upper level of my pack. Okay, so now I'm ready to top off my pack. Just do the top layer. Top layer should be very small, should be very light. The thing I put on the top is my Duplex, my Z-Packs Duplex Tint. Now, if you don't know about the Z-Packs Duplex Tint, there are tons of videos. You can look back at some of my hiking videos. I show myself setting it up. I talk about it a lot. This was my favorite piece of gear. And it's probably the most popular tent out there right now. People say it's a 2-person tent. It's more like a 1.5-person tent. It has, for 1 person, you can get all your gear in there and still have a lot of room. I would just, in the mornings, I would pack up everything while I was in my tent, dress, change. You have so much room in there to do that. It's very versatile. you have to use your trekking poles. But here's the thing. Say it's windy or you want a lot of width. You lower your trekking poles down and you'll get a lot of width. You can also, you know, like brush up leaves around your tent. Like I've talked about this to keep out the wind. But say you want a lot of headroom, you just lift up the poles. Now you're going to get less width, but you're going to get more headroom. So it will work with however you want it to work. And if you want to change it around, like I said, with the weather. Rain too, it's good to have it a little bit lower, I think. Some people say to get rid of condensation, you want to make it up a little bit higher. I haven't really noticed that, but I love this tent. So this Z-Pack's Duplex tent is going to go on the very top of my pack. So I'll just put it right on top. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to put in my pack, and this is my Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer down jacket. Probably the lightest. Well, there are other lighter ones, but this is the lightest with pockets down jacket you can get right now. And it is ridiculously light. It keeps you pretty dry, but I mean, keeps you pretty warm, but not as warm as some. And the cool thing I like about it is it has dry down, just like the Z-Pack sleeping bag. So the down is, they put like a water barrier on the down itself, so the down never collects water. So that's why my sleeping bag would get damp, but then just be dry right away because the down never got wet. And that's how these jackets are. These jackets are expensive, but they're super, super light. And so what I would do with this jacket is I would just stuff it in a ball and put it on top of right on the back where my tent is. So I just take it and ball it up. And then I use the hoodie part and I stick it in there like that. And you have a little ball. That's your down jacket. And so my tent's on top and I just stick it behind it, back like that. I stuff everything down as much as I can, and then I tie my bag up. And another reason you want to keep your down jacket on the top is because when you stop and you get cold, you want it to be right there so you can put it on. Some people may keep it in their back pocket, but I have too much stuff in there and I can't. So this is the pack, fully loaded, inside, not the outside. So like I said, I have my sleeping system down on the bottom. It's cushy for when I drop it. And it's light. Now I have, and I put a few other light things in there. Then I have my food bag and my clothing bag, and my electronics bag, my heavy stuff in the middle. And then the very, very top, I put my lighter stuff. Now your tent may not be light, so you may not want to put it up there. But for me, it worked because it was really light. So my tent, my down jacket. And when I get cold and I stop, I just take the top, pull out my down jacket, put it on. And when I get to camp, my tent's right there to put up. Or if it's raining, getting ready to rain, you know, like crazy, I can stop real quick. My tent's right there. So yeah, light, heavy stuff, and then top it off with some light stuff. That's how you want to pack your bag. All right, so now that I got the inside of my backpack filled up, I'm going to show you what I put in the back net. Now the net is great. The net is for everything that you probably are going to need that day. Like I said, the down jacket, if you can fit it in there, is a good thing, but I can't. But the net pretty much is everything you're going to want to be able to get to really, really quickly. Like if you stop for a break so you don't have to open up your pack. So I'm going to show you what I put in the back of mine. The first thing is the Z seat. As you can see, it's just a little piece of foam. Very, very light. But what's nice about it is you can use this for, you know, when you're taking a break to put on a log or a rock. Gives you a little bit of cushion for your butt, especially if you're like me and have a really bony butt. Or a good thing too is you can put it on the ground and use it to change into without getting your socks all wet or dirty. And I'll put it at the edge of my tent where I go in and out. And that keeps me from tracking debris into my tent. I've used it as a wind stop before. I've used it to block the wind so I can get my stove. A lot of things you can use for this. I love it. I even take this on day hikes with me. Z-seat. And the Z-seat, I just put in the middle of my net, drop it all the way down. And so now I have 2 compartments to fill stuff up with, and I keep that in the middle. So when I need to take this out during the day to sit on, I pull it out, and I can, usually that stuff on the side will stay there, and I can just slide it right back in if I don't take everything out. Okay, the next thing is my snack bag. This is the snacks that I'm gonna have, my lunch and my stop for break snacks. I'm gonna keep in here. Now, what I do too is one of my side pockets, like this side pocket, I will keep like protein bars and stuff that I can eat while I hike, so I don't have to stop. Some people just never stop, and there's days that I don't either, but a lot of times I do like to stop, and so when I do, I'll put everything that I want to eat for lunch or anytime I know I'm gonna stop for a snack. I put it in here, in that little Ziploc bag, and then I just put it on that side, and I shove it all the way down. And that way when I stop, and I take off my pack, I can just grab my snacks. Okay, so the next thing is, one of the most important things you never want to run out on trail, TP, and any other kind of, like I keep Leuco tape in there, and a little bit of Neosporin. I started using the Neosporin instead of Body Glide. It's cheaper and it works the same. So it's kind of cool, and it kind of heals your rash too. And then I have wipes. So this stuff is, you never know when nature's gonna call. So I keep this in my back pocket, and I stuff it all the way down on the other side. So if I'm hiking, all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I gotta go. I can just find a spot, take my pack off, grab it real quick, run to the woods, privy, whatever, but it's always right there. Okay, so the next thing I will put in my net is my raincoat. So this raincoat is the Outdoor Research. This is the Helium, or the Helium 2. It's the last model they made. Now this raincoat, if it's a light rain, it'll suffice. Now if it's a heavy rain, it's not gonna work. But the thing I use this for more than anything is warmth. A lot of times when I stop hiking and I want to take a break, it won't be so cold where I need to put on my down jacket, or I may be a little bit wet and sweaty and I don't want to put on my down jacket. And this Outdoor Research Helium, it'll suffice. It'll keep you warm, block out the wind. It actually is a really good shell. So I like it a lot. It's really light, and I can just take it like I did my down jacket, and I put it in a ball, and basically I have this is my raincoat. Now during the winter, I'll use a heavier raincoat because of the freezing rain, and you may want to, but if you carry an umbrella with one of these, that'll work too. Okay, so I just take my raincoat and it goes right there on top. Now when you put this stuff in, make sure you fit it up under this so it doesn't fall out. I never had anything fall out, and I've had this thing pretty crammed. So it works really good. Yeah, so when it starts raining, I just take off my pack real quick, grab my raincoat, and put it on, or when it's cold, like I said, I use it for warmth. It's always right there when I need it. Okay, and what else I'll do, if I am carrying a knee pad, a knee brace, you can put it in there. And then I use hiking gloves, and when I'm not using them, I'll just stuff them in there. So they're always there when I need them. Yeah, so you just fill up that back pocket with basically with anything you want to get to pretty quick so you don't have to open up your pack. But yeah, that's mine. That's basically what mine looks like all the time. Works for me. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my cooking system. As y'all know, during the summer, I don't cook, but during the winter, I do, and I like to have hot coffee in the morning and a hot meal at night. It's very enjoyable, especially when it's cold. You're going to appreciate it. But during the summer, I don't cook. I don't use a pot. I just eat cold food. I don't cold soak. I just eat food that I can just prepare. But during the winter, I carry the good old-fashioned Snow Peak that everyone uses. Pot lid comes off, the handles are adjustable. Pretty much everyone uses these pots. And then you take the canister. I usually carry a small one, especially if you're through hiking. You probably don't want to carry a big one, but a lot of people carry the big one because they didn't have to stop and get a new one all the time. And sometimes stopping to get a canister can be challenging. But I always would carry a small one. And so what you can do if you're carrying one of these, you can just put the canister into the pot. Now the thing is, you don't want the pot to get wet or it will get rusty. And mine got a little bit rusty, if you can see. But a trick for this is you keep the plastic lid on the canister and just put the plastic down first. And that way you won't have that metal rim sitting on your pot. So if there's a little water in there, it won't get rusty. Just the plastic part will. So for my stove, I use the little, what is it? BRS, that's right. So it's that little cheap Chinese stove. And I'm not proud that I buy Chinese stoves, but this thing, I bought it for 16 bucks like 4 years ago, I think. And it still works. And you can see how little it is, and it's just super lightweight. I mean, it weighs nothing. And then you just put it in this little bag, and that's it. And then you take the pot, your pot, and you stick your stove on top of the canister. Now, here's the thing. If you do that, it rattles. I also will put mine in the netting just because it keeps it all secure, and the netting doesn't weigh nothing. Some people don't use it, but you can hear it, and you don't want to listen to that all day. So what I do to stop that is everyone always needs extra Ziploc bags, and it's good to have them. So I'll just put them like in the top here, and then I'll put that, and then sorry, it's taking so long. Once you have it all in the netting and it's secure in your pocket, it doesn't make any noise. It doesn't rattle because those Ziploc bags, you know, they keep all that space secure so nothing's rattling around. So that's a great way to keep everything in your pot in extra Ziploc bags. Keep those in there. And your stove, your canister, and it, you know, that thing secures on there and it doesn't rattle. I just take my pot, remember it's not rattling now, and I put it in this side pocket right here. Okay, so as you can see, I got my pot in there on the side pocket. It's very secure. My whole cooking system is right there together. And if you're one of those people who stops during the day and cooks lunch, I only cook at camp, but if you're one of those people, it's right there. You don't have to get in your pack to get to it. You can just keep it right there. Works great for me. Okay, we're gonna talk about my water purifying system. So this is what I use. I use a scoop cup. Trust me, scoop cups come in handy and it works great for the system I'm going to show you. But as you can see, this scoop cup I started it in Maine in 2019, and I kept it the whole time. Man, this scoop cup has gone. Now it's nasty and dirty, but it doesn't matter because any water I scoop out, I filter anyways. Along with that, I use the Sawyer water squeeze. I like it. It's very practical, simple, not really heavy, not huge. And if you don't know how to use these, there's videos that'll show you exactly how to use these. And then I use a water bag. So what you do, my water bag is always where my dirty water goes in. My dirty water is always in my water bag. And this filter attaches to the tip of it, and you've seen it in my videos. And you screw it on, and then you just push the water out of the bag through the filter into a smart water bottle. And I carry 2 smart water bottles with the water bag. So if I decide to go to a camp, there's no water, I can just fill up water in that water bag, put it in my pack, hike to the camp, and then when I want to filter it at camp, I'll filter it into my smart water bottles. Both of my smart water bottles, whoop, there goes my scoop cup. Both of my smart water bottles, nothing but clean water. Only clean water goes in these bottles. This is what I carry during the winter. A full liter, and then I fill it to that line. During the summer, I'll carry 2 liters of water. I usually only fill it up to the top of there. But I sweat so much during the summer that I have to carry a lot of water. But during the winter, you don't have to. So yes, I have the 2 smart water bottles. And then the Sawyer squeeze. And I take that. Now this is a CNOC water bag. I highly recommend these. The Sawyer water bags are horrible. They will not last. They might not even last like a 2-day backpacking trip. These bags are great. This is my second bag. I did go through one because I busted one of these seams, but I think they improved it. And this bag has lasted me so long so far. So I take the Sawyer squeeze and I put it in the bag, and then I just wrap the bag around it, and then I stick it in my scoop cup like that. Okay, so the side pocket that I'm not using, remember my stove's on the other side pocket. I put my smart water bottle that has spare water, and this it just makes me feel better to carry a little extra water. And I'll put that in that pocket right there and slide it all the way down. Okay, so then I'll take my Sawyer squeeze and my CNOC water bag that I rolled up into my scoop cup, put that in front of the water bottle, shove it all the way down. Now you can see it's covered, it won't fall out, the bottle's secure. And with having both of those in there, it keeps it secure. And when I want to stop, anytime I stop, all my water that I need to purify is right there. I don't have to go through my pack or nothing. I just pull it out of here, get my water, and keep on hiking. Okay, so I have my water bottle and my filter and bag all on the side. And when I stop to get water, I take off my pack and it's right there. My full smart water bottle, other one, goes right in this water pocket, right in the front, right there. Anytime I need water, I take it off. I stop for a second, because sometimes it's good to stop. Just stop for a second, look at the birds and the mountains and the view, and go, oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. And put it back in and keep on hiking. Okay, so the side pockets that you have to buy separately. In this pocket on my left side, I carry my MP3 player, which I use this because I use my phone to film all the time, and I use it for gut hooks. That it's not good. I can't use it to listen to music because I'll have to keep stopping it. So I carry an MP3 player. This thing is super light, super durable. I love it, but you do have to charge it. That's another thing I have to charge. And then I'll keep, like I said, snacks, protein bars, what I'm gonna eat while I'm hiking and not stopping. I also keep Tums in there because I get heartburn and cough drops. I like having cough drops. If you ever hike during the summer and a fly butt or a fly or something goes down your throat, I mean, it'll just make you cough and cough and cough. So it's good to have those. And also, the good thing about cough drops is it'll open up your bronchial passageways if you're going uphill. So it'll actually help you get more oxygen and stuff. That's a little trail runner secret. And what else? And vitamins, anything, ibuprofen, stuff like that I need to get to quickly, I keep in that pocket right there. All right, so I think I'm almost at the end here. Last thing I use, and this is next to my Duplex, my favorite piece of gear, but it's for vlogging. If you're not vlogging, you don't have to worry about it. And it is an UltraPod, and it's amazing. So you can use it. So basically what you do is you take your camera, your phone camera. You can get a different mount if you have a GoPro or whatever. And that way you can hold it like this and you can do selfie, you know, when you're doing your monologues or talking to the camera or anything like that. I'll do them when I'm doing those scenes where you see the back. I'll hold it like this above my head and I'll be hiking. And people have seen me doing it and they're like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? But that's the thing, if you're vlogging, man, you gotta get over that because you do weird stuff. You look weird out there sometimes. And, oh yeah, and then you just can set it up. It's like a tripod, so you can set it up anywhere you want. And what I would do is usually when I was hiking, I'd see something that looked really, you know, caught your eye. Then I'd look through the camera because not all the time does it look as good. And then if it did, you're like, wow, that does look good. I would make sure to set it up and, you know, and it was a lot, it was time consuming, but I enjoyed doing it. The UltraPod to me is the ultimate lightweight vlogging tool. I mean, I'll never use nothing else. It's amazing. And I can't say enough good things about it, to be honest. Yeah, the UltraPod, man. Okay, so my side bag that's to the right of me, I would take my UltraPod, my camera, and I would put it upside down and I would stick it in the bag like that. Then I would put the handles all the way down and then I would go and I would zip it all the way up to here, So this is what it looks like when it's all secure. You just zip it halfway up and you have the UltraPod handle sticking out, put it all the way down. And anytime you need to get to it, you just unzip it and just pull it right out and it's on the ready. Anytime you're ready to film. And when you're not, it's completely secure and will not fall out. I went underwater Dismal Falls with my camera just like this and it didn't fall out. So that tells you it stays really secure. So I like having that where I can just have it on my hip, ready to pull out and film anytime I need to. And as soon as I'm done filming, I put it right back in and keep on hiking. I never have to take off my pack or nothing. So it's very, very convenient. I like it a lot. It works for me. Okay, y'all, there you have it. That is my winter loadout that I used on my last Appalachian Trail through hike and that I use when I go winter backpacking. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you saw a few tricks that you liked. Maybe you didn't like anything, that's okay. Maybe you liked it all, and that's even better. Like I said before, gear is a very, very personal thing. And it takes a lot of trial and error to dial that gear in. And that's why I suggested in my last video, you know, get to know your gear and get to love your gear because it's really, really, really important on a through hike. But yeah, this is what works for me right now. I may change my mind in the future, who knows? But if you have any other questions about anything, just leave a comment in the comment section And I noticed I got a lot of new subscribers, so thanks for subscribing. And yeah, I hope y'all can learn to tolerate me, because I am kind of sometimes a hard person to tolerate to some people. But until next time, y'all take care. All right.